What's good, Wizards fans? It's your host, the real Ed Oliver and Brandon Scott. The Washington Wizards lose to the Dallas Mavericks 112-104. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code all lowercase LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. All right, it's your host, Real Ed Oliver and Brandon Scott. The Wizards lose 112-104 to the Mavericks. They played pretty well for the most part, but they just couldn't finish it off in the fourth quarter. What were your thoughts about the game? We are going to talk about the update on the potential Wizards move to Virginia, how, that has gone, or we got some updates on that today. So we're going to talk about that after we recap of the game, and then we're going to get to comments after that. But I just want to get your take on the game. The fourth quarter, it just kind of went downhill in the fourth quarter. But what are your thoughts on the
game? Like you said, these last three games have been winnable games, in my opinion. With this game in Dallas, I felt like we played them tough. We've been playing really good basketball as a team these last three games. And then up to the fourth quarter, I know I'm saying that a lot this year, but the fourth quarter got us. Costly turnovers got us, man. Costly turnovers. Low percentage shots, not utilizing the shot clock. We shot 22% from three, so I feel like we were forcing 3-point shots when we didn't need to. But out of everything, the biggest thing was the costly turnover. They got us in the clutch, man. Sometimes this team just looks like they have no plan in the fourth quarter. I don't know if they got to really start running some plays in the fourth quarter and really get people on the same page, man. Looking at it individually, let's start with Turbo, man. Turbo. I'm going to go ahead and say it. He's breaking out offensively. He is playing good basketball. He is attacking the basket. He's aggressive attacking the basket. Look at the stat line. 11 for 17 efficient. 25 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 for 3 from 3. Now, free throws, 2 for 6, so we do need to work on those free throws. That to me, that was not the defining factor, but definitely needed those free throws, especially in the fourth quarter. Again, Kuzma. Being who we know Kuzma is, man, that scorer, that number one option for us. 23 points, 8 rebounds, 9 for 19. So he is definitely bringing his attempts down. Now 1 for 7 for 3. He's still be a little too dependent on that 3-point shot. But when he hits him. When he done. 4 turnovers for him. But overall, Kyle Kuzma had a really, really good game. Now there was some issues in the fourth quarter as far as mistakes made, but overall, being that 20+ score we need, he again did his thing. Tyus Jones, 14 points, but 16 assists. I'm trying to tell you, we've been high on Tyus Jones all year long, being that floor general, that guy who can assist, get everybody involved, and again, career high in assists, 16 assists. So definitely shout out to my guy Tyus Jones, man. He's looking good at point guard. And Bagley, 12 points, 13 rebounds, matched up all right against Daniel Gafford. I know it's a pretty weird matchup between him and Gaff. I hate to talk about the other team, but it had a pretty good night, 16 points, 17 rebounds. So it was definitely a battle. You saw good moments from Marvin Bagley, especially his ability to score in the paint. So going from the good to the bad, Koulibaly, 1 for 10 overall tonight, 1 for 4 from 3, got 7 boards. So that was the biggest key for me. 2 really good blocks, but we all know his offensive game is coming along, so I'm not too alarmed. Kispert, very slow night. 2 for 11 for the field, 1 for 7 for 3. So his shot wasn't dropping. Got 4 boards, but it was an underwhelming performance for him. But again, I'm not very concerned with him overall. 13 minutes by Shaman, 6 points. And the first game for Richaun Holmes in a Wizards uniform, 10 points, 2 boards. I feel like he had moments where he looked really good. A couple of issues here and there, man, but Richaun Holmes did pretty well for us tonight. So overall, this was the Kuz and Turbo show. Oh, yeah, hold on. I don't want to harp on him, but Jordan Poole continues to struggle. And, looking at his stat line, man, 3 points, shooting 1 for 12 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3. 3 steals, 1 block, but not utilizing that shot clock to depend on that jump shot. And to a certain degree, he did shoot us out the game tonight. It's not on him. There's many reasons why we lost this game. Predominantly, just the turnovers killed us. But he's got to learn how to utilize that shot clock. I'm hoping. In fact, I think everybody is that Jordan Poole can figure it out, man. I mean, he's got too much talent, and right now, I don't think he's got to go to a sports psychiatrist. What they need to do to work with him, but he's got to work some things out because he's got way too much talent to struggle as bad, man. So we got to figure out what to do with him. But overall, I feel like it was a good team game. Just the turnovers killed us in the fourth, man.
Yeah, they did. Denny had a great game, but they had an opportunity to keep the game within reach, and he just did a between the leg dribble, and Luka just stood up and stood there, and Denny ran into him and just fell backwards. I don't know if Denny was expecting the foul there. Also, Tyus missed a layup off the backboard, and then Luka got the rebound. He pushed it up to Kyrie and threw a pass to Kyrie, basically on fast break for an easy layup. That didn't help. Now it was questionable down the stretch. Tyus did get the rebound, and Josh Green kind of not tackled him, but they were, I know Drew Gooden and Chris Miller were like, oh, should have been a take foul. So that's something debatable that they did miss right there.
Yeah.
And, we struggled to shoot from three in the fourth quarter. The Mavericks shot the ball well in the fourth quarter from the 3-point line. Luka took over in that fourth quarter. He was kind of being passive and getting his teammates involved more throughout the first 3 quarters. In that fourth quarter, he just kind of took over into the game with 25 points, and he had a triple-double. Kyrie had a couple easy baskets down the stretch as well. Now they did, and then we got the and one. I want to say Denny missed the free throw on the and one, if I'm not mistaken, where PJ Washington hung on the rim. That didn't help either. So, yeah, like you said, we just need a guy that can really take over in that last 2 minutes of the game. It was Kuz a couple years ago, but ever since then, he just hasn't really been able to take over games. And we just needed somebody that could close, and the Mavericks, they have guys that can do that. Kyrie can close, Luka can close, and they clearly took over in that fourth quarter. So the first 3 quarters, the Wizards played great basketball. They won the game in those first 3 quarters, but of course it's a 4-quarter game. You look at the fourth quarter and just look at the numbers, and the Mavericks put up 34, the Wizards put up 16. So they lost the fourth quarter by 18 points, and that just can't happen if you want to win the game. But like I said, I mean, they played well throughout the game. Denny had a great game. Denny's put together some really, really good games, a couple of 20-point games. He's rebounding, he's scoring, he's getting to the basket.
Yep.
Still, needs to work on the left hand, but he's still getting to the basket and finishing strong, finishing through contact. So I love to see it. He's just doing the things that we want to see him do. Finish strong, finish hard.
Yeah.
And he's doing that consistently. He's doing that consistently. So it's just awesome to see a guy, in the Wizards organization develop and get better. And Denny has certainly done that, going 11 for 17 from the field, 25.7 boards. I mean, he had a really good game, another good game. Bagley, once again, another double-double, 12 points and 13 boards. And, of course, Gafford has a double-double. He had like 5 or 6 rebounds alone in the first quarter. He ended the game with 17 rebounds, so he had a great game. So I'm happy for Gafford. We're both, fans of him. We like him as a person as well. So it's good to see him play well. With Luka and Kyrie getting him an easy basket, 16 points and 17 boards. Luka with 26, 15, and 11. He complains to the ref so much. It's just ridiculous. Oh, my gosh. He's just crying every play. He's crying to the refs. Because even when PJ Washington was hanging on the rim, they were complaining about that. I was like, come on, y'all. That's clearly
so the replay.
Basket interference, clearly. And that was an and one for Denny. Denny with the free throws. That was my only thing with Denny tonight, really, is the free throws. He was 2 for 6. We need those. We need those free throws for sure. So, at least give me 5 for 6. And Jordan Poole, man, I don't know what to say. Tyus, I'll give him his props too. He had 16 assists. He got his teammates involved tonight, so he did a great job doing that. Corey had an off night, but he still tried to contribute. And Rashawn Holmes with the debut. We'll talk about his debut a little bit later. I see somebody asked about it in the comments. So I thought he had a good game. Bilal struggled tonight shooting the ball, but 7 boards, so he did other things. But Jordan Poole, man, he's just struggling right now. He really is. He's super inconsistent. Now, he had a good game the other night. He had 19. It's just he'll have a good game, then he'll have 3 bad games, then he'll have 2 good games and 3 bad games.
Yeah. So
it's just like no consistency from him at all. You just don't know what you're going to get from him. 1 for 12, 1 for 6. At least he didn't foul out tonight, but, it's just, you just don't know what you're going to get from the guy at all.
No, you hit the nail on the head, man. Consistency is his biggest issue. And I say it all the time. He has talent. I mean, if you look at his tape in Golden State, his speed and his agility, there's a difference here in DC. I mean, he slowed down a little bit. There's a big confidence issue. And like I said, I don't know if they need to do sports psychiatry,
Yeah,
what they need to do to help the guy out, but he does have way too much talent. I mean, you see the player he was in Golden State. He was a big part of that title run. I mean, he's an electric scorer. And I think that maybe they need to make that move to put him on the bench, second unit. Let him be the sixth man. Whether it's Corey Kispert or Bilal Coulibaly, put somebody at the two guard, man, especially somebody who can, Bilal defense-wise, but, I think Corey Kispert could definitely be that scorer. But something's got to be done. Slide him to six man because right now he is struggling. And I think it's not just physically, it's mentally. Right now his confidence is way down. The booze, everything, like I said, and I said time and time again, man, he's got to really acclimate to being in DC because it's, coming over from Golden State, totally different situation, totally different cities, totally different organization, man. So I want to see him figure it out. I really do. Because like I said, he's a good player. It's just the mental side of things. People don't realize how big the mental side of things is with sports, man. Where your mind goes, your body follows. And right now, clearly, he's dealing with a lot of confidence issues. So, I'm opening out hope, man, that a slide to six man can help him out because I think that's the best bet for him right now. So, in closing, man, this was a good fought game. They fought hard after the deadline. They're fighting. They're playing hard. You see the culture of playing to win. It's just costly turnovers. And when you're playing against teams like the Dallas Mavericks, man, who have playoff aspirations, those turnovers can kill you. And they did tonight. So
definitely. So yeah, we're gonna get into the updated news about the potential Wizards move. But before we do that, today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. It's demon time on PrizePicks. You can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. Demons and goblins are the newest and most exciting way to play at PrizePicks. Squares marked with red demons or green goblins. Get your different payouts. You can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. So yeah, if you would have picked Daniel Gafford over rebounds, which I did, I think it was about over 6.5 rebounds or something like that. He cashed that easily with 17 rebounds. It's still, that is the formula. That's the way to go against big men who ever play against the Wizards. Always pick the over on their rebounds for sure. You look at the Wizards, they play the Pelicans next. So you take a look at Giannis Valanciunas. If you look at his rebounds, whatever his rebounds will be on Wednesday night, that's something to definitely take a look at for sure. And then you may want to take the under on Jordan Poole's points. So we'll see how that goes. All right, you guys, we want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Make sure you guys check out the Locked On Sports Network. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now you can also find it on Amazon Fire TV. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find the Locked On Sports Today channel now on Amazon Fire TV. All right, so I'm just going to read a little bit of the article here. This is on WTOP News. It says, top Virginia Senate Democrats deal setback to legislation to relocate Washington Capitals Wizards. The article says, top Democrats in the Virginia Senate have dealt a blow for the NBA Washington Wizards and NHL Washington Capitals to relocate to Northern Virginia, refusing to docket the bill for a hearing and expressing serious reservations Monday about the financing of the proposed deal. Senator Louise Lucas, who holds great sway in General Assembly as chair of the Senate and Finance and Appropriations Committee, first said over the weekend on social media that the legislation underpinning the deal negotiated by Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin was not ready for prime time, would not receive a hearing in her committee. The decision effectively killed the Senate version of the legislation deal for now. So what are your thoughts on that? And what do you think is going to happen moving forward?
Oh, man, I'm not very surprised at all. I knew it wasn't a done deal. I knew that the Republican side, as far as the Commonwealth of Virginia, were definitely on board with the proposed move to Alexandria. But I knew that a lot of votes had to come along. They had to agree in the House. And I'm not surprised. I kind of looked at Ted Leonsis in the whole relocation thing is trying to get the attention of City Hall in DC. And I think it accomplished that. I mean, but I think it was just a ploy to get the mayor in DC to get on board and trying to renovate Capital One, because there's so many factors that kind of prevent them from moving, man. A lot of people in Alexandria, Virginia don't want a new arena. Traffic is already an issue. Do they necessarily have the infrastructure in place for it? So I was one that, we talked about it, we reported on it, but I never really were 100% sure that they were going to make that move, because there's so many obstacles. Because, look at the fact that, the Washington Mystics, no disrespect, they don't draw a big enough crowd to be the lone occupant of Capital One. And then if you look at the fact that their practice facility, which is also the home of the Capital City Go-Go, was built in 2018. So there was too many factors to prevent them. So I'm not surprised, and I honestly think they're staying in DC. Now, there could be a new development that they could move to Virginia, but I just don't see it. I think they're going to stay where they are. Now, saying that, I will say this: I think that Mayor Muriel Bowser, she needs to sit down not only with Ted Leonsis, but with Josh Harris, and I think they need to figure it out and see what they can do. Not only keeping the Caps and the Wizards in DC, but see if they can relocate the Commanders back into DC. I think that, now that it looks like the City Hall is definitely trying to put the money as far as renovating, let's try to see the Commanders. But that's a whole other conversation and different sport, man. But I think they're staying in DC. I don't think they're going anywhere. I think that, without getting political here, I think that Governor Youngkin seized the moment to get publicity. I don't think there's really because there's so many factors that keep them from making that move. And like I said, right now, that area is already having issues with traffic and so many different issues, being close to Reagan Airport. It's just, I don't think it was really thought through. I thought that it was a ploy by Ted Leonsis to try to get the attention of Mary Bowser. And he accomplished his goal. So, but I don't see them going anywhere. I think they're going to stay right where they are, where they should be, in the District of Columbia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I know Ted got super excited. I remember the press conference and all that, and he was just smiling ear to ear and super excited about the potential move. Then they had the draw up of the stadium and the whole, buildings they're going to build around it. It's going to be on the water and whatnot. So the government, they stalled it right now, and I think that is a good thing. You don't want to leave the city, just leaving that city, that building vacant like that. And the only team that's going to be there is the Mystics, and that's really it in that stadium. And they only play in the summertime for a couple of games, not many games at all in the season. And so many businesses would be either losing money or closing down. Clyde's restaurant already said that if the Wizards move, then most likely they are going to close down. So you will lose a lot of businesses and just a lot of life and juice to the city and businesses there in Gallery Place, Chinatown. So, we'll see. I know Michael Phillips, he tweeted out that, just because this happened, that he said in his tweet, he says, be careful on the story that the VA stadium for the Wiz Caps is dead. Virginia legislature is complicated. At least 2 more paths available for passage. So Ted Leon says he may have something else up his sleeve to try to get this done, because it seems like he really, really wants it to get done. Because it would be a really nice stadium and all that, but we'll see. I highly doubt it happens. At first, I thought it was a done deal. I thought it was just going to happen. I thought they're going to move them, but there's just a lot of hoops they got to go through. A lot of people in the state of Virginia don't really want it. A lot of people the residents there, they don't really want it. Like you said, the traffic and all that. It's just a lot that comes with it for sure. So I think they should stay in DC, like you said, with the Commanders. I feel like the team should be in the city, even though there's a lot of teams that we see, like the Giants, they're in New Jersey. We see a lot of teams that are not in the actual city. But, I think if they can renovate Gallery Place and, meet some of the requirements to, upgrade the stadium and whatnot, they might as well just stay there. I think it's a good stadium. It's not the worst. It's not like how FedEx Field is. Where they got, stuff leakage and all kinds of stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I still think it's a solid venue for sure. And I think they definitely should stay in DC. So we'll see how this unfolds. A lot of people just don't want it to happen. A lot of people who live in the area don't want it to happen.
Nah, I mean, I grew up in the Commonwealth of Virginia, man. So me personally, the economy's bad enough, man. I ain't trying to pay taxes on the new arena, man. And that's where a lot of people are talking about, is that you're going to have the taxes were going to go up in Virginia. And, with everything going on right now, I just can't, people are hurting right now. to tell us that the tax is going up to build an arena, man, I ain't trying to hear all that. So I think that, renovate Capital One and definitely see what you can do as far as, money wise, trying to get the Commanders back into DC. So I don't see them going anywhere now. He is absolutely correct that Virginia, man, it's weird in Virginia as far as, bipartisanship and trying to get things passed. It is a slippery slope in the Commonwealth, but I think eventually they're going to stay in DC. So I'm not too concerned, man.
Mm-hmm. But all right, we're going to get to the comments. But before we do that, we had a quick word from Brandon.
Yes, sir. Tonight's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. So sometimes we all need the opportunity to get something off our chest, big or small. Certain things can really start to get at you, right? It's important to let that out. You got to let it all out, especially to someone who's unbiased on your life. So today I want to say how I really feel about something. You might even be thinking about the same thing this week. Man, grocery bills. I'm just trying to tell you, man, it's killing me right now. So, anything can really make you down or depressed. So I definitely recommend BetterHelp. Now, therapy can be different for everyone, right? Most of us have bigger problems than our favorite sports team, and it's important to get things off your chest every once in a while. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be flexible and suited to your schedule. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. All right.
Yes, sir. Let's get into comments. A lot of people going back and forth tonight. All right, let's see here. You got 88 people in the chat, man. 88 people.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to everybody tuning in for sure.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Eddie Eanes says Kisper has really been off this game. I don't want him to lose confidence. He's a really good player. He's had a couple good games, so I'm not concerned about him having an off night. I think he's a guy that will definitely bounce back. He just had a 26-point game the other night, so I'm not concerned at all.
Nope, not one bit. I think that we talk a lot about Denny this year, him kind of breaking out. We don't put a lot of credit on Corey Kispert, man. As far as offensively, he's that sniper. He's that guy high at basketball IQ, cutting to the basket. But his defense has gotten better this year. So yeah, that's a valid point. Confidence is always key with young players. But I think Corey, he's gonna be all right, man. I'm not too concerned right now.
Right. All right. Let's see here. Sheldon T says, liking the more aggressive Denny on offense. If he gets a mid-range game, he'll be dangerous. Bilal's off-season equals offense, shooting, and ball handling. Yeah, Bilal, he definitely has a lot of improvement areas on the offensive side of the ball. We talked about this in the draft process, three-point shot, the ball handling. We saw it in the Summer League, too, where, he lost the ball here and there. He got ripped. I remember the Pacers game, the first game, he got ripped by Jarris Walker. He got plucked. So he definitely has a lot of things to work on as far as ball handling, and that's normal for a rookie. Tonight he didn't shoot the ball well, which is, you're going to get a roller coaster ride from him for sure. But this is where the development staff comes in. Will Dawkins said that they're not going to take any shortcuts. So they took a guy who, is, I'm not going to say developmental project, but he's a guy that definitely, he's got to get in the weight room. He's got to work on his ball handling. Got to work on his shot. Got to stay at it. And, I'm really intrigued to see what they do this offseason as far as his diet, who he's working with, as far as ball handling. Is he going to work out with Drew Hanlon? Yeah. Is that somebody they're going to have him work out with?
Oh, Lord.
So
it ain't guaranteed, man.
Yeah, no. So, we still have that one with Denny. But, all jokes aside, we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, they got Brian Keefe, who's a great developmental coach, David Vanderpool, who's known for development. So, this is huge. This is a huge offseason for Bilal and also just the front office and the developmental staff. So, but yeah, he's had some good games. And then, like I said, it's been a roller coaster ride for him, but he has not lost confidence at all. So, just more playing time. Keep working on it.
Oh, man, I agree 100%.
And then, I'm sorry, I didn't talk about Denny. I know a lot of the Denny fans, I definitely don't want to miss the comment about Denny. He said Denny looks more aggressive. Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree with you, Sheldon. He's been super aggressive, being very physical, getting to the basket. He's been relentless, getting to the base. He's been super, super, super aggressive, and I love it. I love it.
I do too, man. I'm very excited about this young core of Denny Avdia, Corey Kispert, and Bilal Coulibaly. I said it in the last video, man. This young core we have, man, they're really evolving. They really are. Denny breaking out offensively, loving what I see. Corey Kispert, again, more energy defensively. We know what he can do offensively. And looking at Bilal, look, his offense can come along. We knew that offensively, he was definitely a project coming out of the draft. That was his MO coming out of France. Offensively, he was definitely a project, but his defense is there. And he, look, talk to him, man. He's definitely a guy who knows he needs to improve as far as catch and shoot, his ball handling. So he's definitely going to work on that in the offseason. Now, yeah, I definitely recommend 5 pounds. Now, any more than that, I don't want to take away from his speed, but I think, definitely 5 pounds of muscle, man, needs to be added so he can definitely ball in there inside, man. But, this young core, I call them the three amigos, but I mean, this young core, man, I like what we got as far as the foundation of the young guys, man, because every one of them are evolving in front of our eyes. And so, yeah, I like what I see from the young guys, man. I really do.
Yep. Yeah, Locked On Law. I get your frustration. I really do.
Yeah.
Jordan, he's talking about Jordan Poole. He said Jordan Poole is killing his team. Heather Feather says Johnny D over Poole. Yeah, I mean, we should give Johnny Davis some playing time. Let him play at least. Give him 10 minutes. And Locked On Law also says they'd be better off playing 4 on 5. Yeah, another struggling game for Jordan Poole. He's just not shooting the ball well. He's just super inconsistent. Like I said, he just had 20 points the other night or 19, and then he comes out here and shoots 1 for 12. So I just don't. We just don't know what we're going to get. I think it would be better for him to come off the bench, play against the other team second unit, and he can control the game. He can play point guard a little bit. He can kind of settle down a little bit, and he can kind of control the game out there. So I just kind of want to see that. I think Brian Keith's got to switch it up. That's the thing with Wes. Wes never changed the starting lineup. The only time he would ever change the starting lineup was to really take Denny out.
Yeah. So
let's see what Keith decides to do here. I think they need to make a change. And I think it would help Jordan Poole. So put Bilal in that starting lineup.
Yeah.
And have Jordan Poole come off the bench and let him play against second units. And I think that might help him with his confidence too.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I definitely think he needs to become a 6-man, come off the bench. But you know what? Here's the thing: we have no choice but to try to get him right because his contract right now ain't looking hot. It's looking like a bad contract, and I don't want to harp too much on him, man. I'm just hoping the young man can figure it out, and because we have given our fair share of smoke to people on this team last couple of years. But I tell you what, man, at the end of the day, we both, and we want the guys to succeed in DC, and I want him to succeed, man. Whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else, he can play ball. Looking at the tape in Golden State, he can play basketball at a high level. He's a scorer. It's just putting him in the best position, and I just don't think him starting at the 2 guard is the best position for him to succeed. He has to come off the bench right now. See what Bilal can do. See what Corey Kispert can do, depending on the matchup. But yeah, I think we've seen enough that right now he's not a starter.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right. A lot of comments. We probably have to read some tomorrow. Let's see.
Don't be saying that, E.
I know. I need to learn my lesson, man. Because I know every time I say it, it never happens for whatever reason. It just does not happen. Let's see here. If you see anything, just you can put it on the screen. Let's see here.
Let's see.
Go ahead.
We got one right here. It's kind of funny. My Rams says, forget about 6-man slide up to Hawaii. He's trying to ship him to Hawaii. Lord have mercy. This is a good one right here. Saul Good. That is a good way of saying Saul. Get a sports shrink to work with JP. His trade value is in the gutter, so he won't be leaving anytime soon with his bloated contract. Got to get him centered and let his talent speak for itself somehow. And I agree with that, E. He's got talent, man. I mean, I cannot sit here with a straight face and say that he's trash. He's not. I mean, he played good basketball in Golden State. And if you look at his speed in DC, look at his tape here in DC as opposed to when he was with the Warriors, you see that he's not operating at 100%. He's not operating full throttle. He's just not. Whether it's mental, whether it's physical, and maybe it's a combination, but he's got talent. He's got talent to be a difference maker for this team. It's just they got to figure it out. He's got to figure it out. So I'm hoping, whether it's medicinal, whatever, anything they can do to help him out, because it behooves us to get him right. Right now, his contract is not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. It behooves both parties to figure this thing out. And we'll see. He's got too much talent to be so bad, man. So.
Yeah, I just like how you said medicinal, but, maybe they can try BetterHelp first,
you go.
And go there, shout out to BetterHelp. But, he definitely needs some type of just a sports psychiatrist would definitely help. I just don't Yeah, it's very interesting. It really is because he's so talented. He's a great player, but for whatever reason, he's been super inconsistent. The shot selection has been bad, and he'll have one good game, and then he looks like he's just not interested to play at all. So, but I just want them to get the best out of him, and he's way too talented to be playing like this.
Yeah.
Way too talented. And before the season started, I mean, he was supposed to be a breakout player, and the question was, is he a franchise piece and all this stuff? And Kevin Garnett was like, he can be the next James Harden, and it's been nowhere near that at all. It's been nowhere near that. All right.
Well, look at Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
The funny thing was, like 30 days after, he said he needed to be in the league.
Shouldn't be in the league. Yeah, no, it was crazy how the tables turned so quick.
I know.
And then the whole Shaq and a fool throwing the ball off the backboard and not looking at the clipboard. So it's just been another roller coaster ride for Jordan Poole as well. All right. It's all good. This will be the last one. So he says, let's go turbo. Got to work on the ball handling and excessive flops, especially in the clutch. But third solid game in a row with 20-plus points. And then there's a lot of comments talking about Kuzma being the reason why we lost. I'm not going to say he's the reason why we lost. A big thing was turnovers. Now, he definitely was a part of it. I know he had a couple of turnovers tonight, too. He had 4 turnovers. Denny had 5 turnovers. So Denny's not innocent either. Denny, he did disappointment with the flop at the end where Luka just stood straight up. That was disappointing. I was like, come on, man. You had a great game. Why are you just flopping? Like, it kind of just felt like he was waiting for a call.
Yeah.
So I do agree with you on that, Saul. But, yeah, he had a heck of a game. I feel like he was the best player for the Wizards tonight for sure. He really was. And it's not much of a question on that. So I just want to see him keep it up. He's been playing really, really well the last couple of games. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from him.
Oh, absolutely, man. I have nothing but good things to say about Denny and his breakout performance this season, man. He's definitely breaking out. I think the only improvements I want to see, and I kind of saw Kyle Kuzma take him aside and talk to him a few times, just arguing calls. And I get it, man. In Dallas, it's kind of like when in Rome, be like Romans. In Dallas, man, look, Luka and Kyrie gonna get a lot of calls. I just want him to get down the floor. Sometimes you see him arguing calls, and then it's 4 on 5. Use the right moment to argue calls with them. That's all I'm asking. But tonight, man, he's clearly the best. One comment real quick before we roll, man. Somebody asked me, because I know that I said medicinal. Shook Biz said,
yeah, no, that's what I was thinking.
Suggestions maybe a little 420. Look, whatever helps, man. You know what I'm saying? I'll take whatever at this point, man. Because he did say that the greener green lights in DC and when it came on. So that's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Let's see. Somebody else pick up Killian Hayes. So no, people are doing a comedy show right now saying pick up Killian Hayes.
Boy.
But actually, I like Killian Hayes a little bit, but I definitely wouldn't bring him here. I wouldn't bring him here. I do want to see his career get revived. I still think he has some left in the tank. It was crazy how he got waived and just not traded. Now, speaking of trades, DeLon Wright had 5 minutes tonight, so that was interesting as well because it's like they weren't able to trade him. So is he a buyout candidate? I haven't heard anything like that, but he's not getting any playing time. This is what the second or third game after the trade deadline. He hasn't played much as of late, which is kind of what we asked for. We wanted less minutes for the veterans. Shamet only had 14 minutes. Bilal played 30 minutes. So Keith is giving big minutes to Bilal and kind of less minutes to DeLon and Landry, 2 guys that we were looking forward to these guys kind of moving on and getting traded. Dean Palmero says pick up Jordan Goodwin after his 10-day contract with the Grizzlies. Yeah, I mean, that's something we'll talk about that tomorrow a little bit too. Jordan Goodwin did get signed, so that's another guy that I would like to see on the Wizards. But they do have Jared Butler as well. He's been playing the G League. So, like I said, it's just interesting. The whole DeLon barely played and Landry barely played, and they just weren't able to move those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how legit they were, but there were reports on Twitter, man, talking about how they're going to end up buying out DeLon Wright and maybe picking up Killian Hayes. Killian Hayes defensively definitely fits in. Just offensively, man, he needs to work on his game, man. So I guess it depends on what you're looking for from a young guard. I prefer my guards be able to at least stretch the floor a little bit. Offensively, he struggles a little bit, but defensively, got a little dog in him, man. So we'll see. I'm all about bringing in young players, man, and see, who fits, who doesn't. So, and that's the benefit of being in the rebuild. Bring in young guys. If they fit, they don't. We'll see. But so.
Yeah, so that's something we'll talk about tomorrow, and then we'll talk about Namer me off of his comment. Very interesting name for Namer. And he says that it's better to put a ghost out there on defense rather than putting Jordan Poole out there. So we'll definitely talk about that tomorrow. But we want to thank you guys for listening and making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you guys get podcasts. Make sure you guys subscribe to that notification bell. Hell to Wizards. Peace.